Good morning. This is your daily AI News Digest for Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. We have a packed briefing for you today. We're tracking a monumental flood of capital that's completely changing the game in the race for AGI. We've also got a critical security breach that has just exposed the future of autonomous agents. And finally, a massive scientific leap forward that redefines what we thought AI was even capable of. And a quick note that today's briefing is brought to you by bestai.org, your home for analysis on the entire AI ecosystem. All right, let's jump right in with our first headline number. And it is a big one, $122 billion. Now, this isn't just another funding round. It's a truly historic capital injection, and it signals a brand new era for AI infrastructure. Then we're going to get into a story about a catastrophic leak at one of the top AI labs. The actual blueprints for the next generation of autonomous agents, they've been exposed. And the implications for security and the competitive landscape are just massive. And rounding things out, a valuation that is, well, literally out of this world. It's set to rewrite the record books by merging the frontiers of space and artificial intelligence. Let's dive in. So first up, AI's new financial scale, the money and the mission. Look, we're starting here because the sheer amount of money pouring into this space is just staggering. The message is clear. The experimental phase, that's over. This is now a high-stakes game of building sovereign-scale infrastructure. So here it is. OpenAI has officially closed a funding round for a mind-bending $122 billion. You heard that right. And you can probably guess the names behind it. Amazon, Microsoft, NVIDIA, the usual suspects, but with much bigger checks. This cash infusion skyrockets their valuation to $852 billion, putting them in the same league as the biggest companies on the planet. Now, you might be wondering how they justify that valuation. Well, for starters, they're pulling in an incredible $2 billion a month in revenue. But honestly, the bigger story is what they're doing with all this capital. In a move that surprised a lot of people, they are shutting down Sora, their viral video platform. Why on earth would they do that? It's simple, really. They're taking all that compute, all that power, and pointing it at one single goal, AGI. They've got a new model, codenamed Spud, and it's all about raw reasoning. This is a huge pivot. They're saying creative tools are nice, but the real prize is true artificial general intelligence. Okay, so that's OpenAI, but they're not the only ones making trillion-dollar moves. Let's talk about SpaceX. They've just confidently filed for an IPO, and the target valuation is, well, it's $1.75 trillion. If they hit that, it would make them the most valuable aerospace company in history by a long, long shot. So how do you even get to a number like that? A couple of big reasons. First, Starlink is now a mature, cash-generating machine. It pulled in over $10 billion in revenue last year alone. And second, and this is the really fascinating part, is the recent merger with xAI. The new company is pitching itself as a provider of something they call orbital intelligence. And what does that mean? They actually want to put AI data centers in space. Think about it. You use the cold vacuum of orbit for cooling. It's a wild idea to get around the massive energy bottlenecks we have for AI down here on Earth. Okay, now for a complete change of pace. We've talked about the highs, now let's talk about the lows. Section 2, Anthropic's credibility crisis, the competition and the code. This is a stark reminder that while the ambitions are huge, the risks are just as big, even for the top players. So what happened? It was a simple packaging error, believe it or not, but the result was anything but simple. The entire unobscurated source code for Claude Code, their flagship coding assistant, was leaked in a public release. We're talking about 513,000 lines of raw TypeScript, just out there. This isn't just a leak, it's the entire playbook, the model's internal logic, exposed for everyone to see. And it gets worse. The leak also exposed projects that were supposed to be top secret. The biggest one? A project code named Kairos. This is a persistent 24/7 AI agent, basically an autonomous digital employee that just runs in the background, doing tasks for you. The concept of an always-on AI agent is no longer theoretical. The blueprints are now public. Now, you have to remember Anthropic's entire brand is built on safety and reliability. They're the safe AI company. So a leak like this, it's just a devastating blow to their credibility. And the timing couldn't be worse. They were gearing up for an IPO later this year. This really calls their operational security and maturity into question. All right, let's pivot away from the corporate drama and into some really exciting science. Our next section, Google's scientific leap, the breakthrough. Google DeepMind just announced something that could genuinely change the game for scientific discovery. Get this, Google's new model, called Gemini 3 Deepthink, has solved 18 previously unsolved open problems in mathematics, physics, and computer science. And when we say open problems, we mean challenges that have stumped the smartest humans on the planet for decades. The reasoning power here is just on another level. On the key ArcAGI2 benchmark, it scored almost 85%. To put that in perspective, Claude Opus is down around 68, and GPT 5.2 is at 52. So it's not even close. And it's not just about test scores. It achieved a gold medal level ALO rating on Codeforces. That means it can code at the level of the best human competitive programmers in the world. But of course, none of this incredible software means anything without the hardware to run it on. So that brings us to our next section, the hardware arms race, the physical layer. This is about the silicon, and it's a battle that's really heating up between Meta and the king of the hill, NVIDIA. And they're taking two very different approaches here. On one side, you've got Meta. They're going all in on building their own custom chips, the MTIA series. Why? Well, to save money and, more importantly, to get out from under NVIDIA's thumb. Their whole game is about inference, the insane amount of computing it takes to run their recommendation feeds for billions of people. NVIDIA, meanwhile, is selling the whole package, what they call the AI factory. If you look at Meta's roadmap, their goal is crystal clear. Their next big chip, the MTIA 500, is all about one thing: memory bandwidth. We're talking a wild 27.6 terabytes per second. This chip is purpose-built to solve the single biggest bottleneck for large AI models right now, which is just getting data in and out of memory fast enough. But let's be real, nobody is dethroning NVIDIA just yet. The company just posted a record quarter, $68.1 billion. And they immediately turned around and announced their next big thing, the Vera Rubin platform. The headline promise, a tenfold reduction in the cost of inference. That move alone pretty much secures their top spot for the near future. Okay, let's pull back for the final section here. The big picture, regulation and strategic outlook. Because none of this happens in a vacuum. There's a whole world of regulation and politics swirling around these developments, and it's shaping the entire industry's future. So let's just tie this all together. What did we see today? First, we have the rise of what you could call sovereign-scale AI companies. We're talking about entities like OpenAI or the new SpaceX's XAI combo that control more capital and compute than many countries. Second, we've hit what some are calling the agentic inflection point. The technology for autonomous AI agents is here. That Kairos leak proved it, but it also brings a whole new category of risk. And third, the big one. AI isn't just another piece of software anymore. It's becoming a fundamental layer of infrastructure, just like electricity or the internet. And that really brings us to the bottom line. This intelligence infrastructure is being built right now at a speed that's hard to even comprehend. So the big question, the trillion-dollar question, isn't if this tech is going to run our world anymore. That ship has sailed. The question now is, who gets to write the rules? That concludes today's briefing.